Hello and welcome to a bonus edition of All Out AOS Presents Tip of the Spear. This seems like a really common occurrence because we've literally just had the one come out for the Lumineth and Tzeentch, where we did our bonus podcast when the rules dropped of our kind of initial feelings for that.
I would also just like to point out that it's our bonus episode.
Oh, that's so bad. But it works, so we'll leave it in. We feel like we've done a lot of these bonus ones, because we did obviously one when they first announced the Spearhead, and then suddenly, not quite out of the blue, book is coming up for pre-order this Saturday, but it does mean that we've just had 4 new Spearheads, and we are only the middle of February. That's Nurgle, Tzeentch, Lumineth, Bonereapers.
Nurgle seems ages ago to me.
Was this year though? Because I was annoyed it didn't come out for Christmas and I could have had nice Christmas Nurgle things. Yeah. That's how I remember that.
It came out like early middle of January.
So they've announced 5 and obviously we've now got rules for 4 of them.
And the way they're going, Sylvaneth's going to drop next week. The rules will drop for them.
They did say later in the year is the thing I read, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Tomorrow's later in the year.
Well, yeah, true. We're just going to go not through the whole Spearhead like we do our in-depth ones, because we normally like to have more games before we kind of give our proper review of it. But we're just going to pick out key parts of the Spearhead that strikes us and makes us think, and have a little talk about them.
Yeah, give kind of our general opinion of it, and maybe, I don't know, if you're maybe looking at buying it, maybe not, maybe this can help you a little bit. Because initially, I was very excited for this Spearhead because I thought, oh, that should be a really good one. I don't know what they could do to not make it very good.
I mean, they didn't do what I genuinely thought they would do. I thought they were going to have one of the units come in after the second or third battle rounds so that it wasn't like this massive models, a bit like the Deepkin that just charge you because they're so mobile and they get to you. I honestly thought that they would hold one back. After the Tzeentch one came out, and that's the case for them, I thought, they're going to do the same with this, because otherwise it's going to be too good. But apparently, you can have the whole army in, and it won't be too good.
Well, clearly they listened to our other Bonereapers podcast, where we were like, they probably have the worst cavalry unit in the game, and they were like, hold my beer. We're going to redo the same unit, but make it slightly worse this time.
And they have. What? Like, there are a few. I can name a few, like Nurgle's cavalry in Spearhead that don't have damage plus on the charge. But I can't name many other proper cavalry blocks that don't have +1 charge damage. I genuinely, we've just come to record this, and I went, oh, Robin, I don't think they'll quite do enough damage. And Robin was like, yeah, they won't. They haven't got +1 charge damage. And I was like, no, Robin, you've misread that. It can't be right.
No.
How?
The cavalry unit is just 3 attacks, 3s to hit, 4s to wound, 1 rend, 1 damage. No way to buff any of that. Ooh, sorry, you can give it more rend.
Give it more rend. And you can give the companion attack more rend. That is nice. But unfortunately, the companion attack is hitting on a 5.
5. You get 2 attacks, 5 plus, 3 plus, no rend, 1 damage. So yeah, if you could realistically make that a unit where you have 3 attacks, so 15 attacks for a full unit, 3s and 4s, rend 2, damage 2 on a charge.
Be pretty decent.
And then with the companion attack, 1 rend, 1 damage. That would actually be a pretty nice little cavalry unit.
And it wouldn't even be the best in the game, but it will be a good cavalry unit.
Yeah. And really, that's kind of the main bulk of the army.
Because I did
2 squads of 5 of them.
I did think, oh, maybe they're making Spearhead. They told us that Spearhead could be done in 45 minutes. So maybe they're like, I know what we'll do. We'll have armies with less units. And even this one, you've only got 3 different war scrolls. So if you're trying to remember that and do it, it's very, very quick. So maybe that's what they were planning, I don't know. But it does feel like you say, they're literally half of your army. And they've made them not brilliant.
Not brilliant, no. They've got like a really weird niche movement ability where technically this model could move 32 inches in the game. 33 actually, because you can give it +1 to charge.
Give it +1 to charge. I mean, but what you're wanting to be on, that is not in combat. I mean, suppose you don't want them in combat because they're not going to do anything. But that whole ability basically lets them, if they have charged, on a 3-up, they can then do a normal movement characteristic and must end that out of combat.
Yeah.
I had to read that twice to make sure I hadn't misread. I assumed it was one of the ones where you charge something that's closer, and then it lets you then charge something else and get in combat with something else.
Or sort of wheel around a little bit.
Because you can give them an ability to pass through models. So I'm like, great. So they put up this, because they're going to, if they know you're two pretty nasty, if they were, cavalry units charging in initially and your hero charging in, let's put a wall of units in front I don't care about. You go, great, I charge them, I then pass through them and charge the thing I really want the other side. But you can't do that.
It has niche value to it. There's going to be times when you're like, I'm on the other side of the board and I've got the, take the blood dice or the ignite dice or whatever, and it's like, I'm 27 inches away from it. Potentially you could then make that distance with that model. So there is like a niche use for it. But yeah, also if you're like your main combat force of the army is got an ability that takes it out of combat.
You could fail that 3-up. You could bank on not being in combat, be like, oh, I need to take that objective over there and take the flanks, enemy territory not in combat. Great, that unit can do it, and then I fail a 3-up, and now I've scored none of those.
Yeah, this feels like it's going to be a bit of a weird one.
The one time you really need it, you're not going to roll the 3-up.
Yeah. I really like the hero. Looking at the hero, I think that's a pretty solid hero.
How much health has he got?
It's got 7.
7.
So not the tankiest.
But it's 3-up save with a 6-up ward. You can give him a 5-up ward as one of his enhancements if you choose.
Which isn't a bad one to pick, really.
And he moves 10.
He's got 5 attacks, 3s and 4s, 1 rend, damage 2, plus 1 damage on the charge. So potentially a damage 3.
I mean, you can give him crit 2 here.
It doesn't.
But on 5 attacks, you're lucky if you're going to get 1.
I mean,
but then 3 damage, I don't know. I did look at him and go,
yeah,
he could do a lot.
He probably will do a lot, but he will also probably also do nothing. That is the issue.
Yeah. Okay, Robin. Look at the Warcry unit.
The Warcry
unit. What
type
of unit is that, please?
It's an infantry unit? Oh,
it is a beast.
It's a beast.
It is not currently in Bone Reapers, and currently they each have 2 health each. They've made it into a beast, and they've given them 1 health. And do you know how many models are in that unit?
11?
8.
8.
So you have a unit with 8 health, with a 5-up save, with a 6-up ward. The move 7.
It's not a bad move.
And it's got a nice ability. It can basically move every turn.
Yeah, but it's a... But if it can move into combat, it must move into combat.
But
6.
you can also choose not to do it. It's not like you have to.
It is a you can, not you must.
But then you must, if you're moving them, it must be into combat if you can.
Yeah.
But you can choose just not to move them. I like anything that moves things in your opponent's turn, messes them up a bit.
Like you say, so again, it's another really weird niche ability that has like, I need that combat.
Yeah.
You use that ability and then you essentially you skip the charge phase. Yeah. Or if your opponent has a unit that has benefits to being on the charge, like +1 damage or does impact mortals, you just go, well, I don't think you're going to fail a 3-inch, so I'm just going to walk into combat with you, and then at least you're a bit less.
Or you're against Skaven and you don't want it to scurry away, so you walk into combat. Yeah. And now it can't do its movement. Yeah, I can see uses, but like you say, niche is the word. Most of the time, that's probably not going to help you. Occasionally, it will.
Yeah, you'll be just short of an objective, and you'll be able to just move on to it in the enemy's turn, because it is any movement.
Yeah.
So it's a nice ability. Again, it's just a little weird.
And the fact that they are a 7 health unit walking around, they are reinforced, which is really nice.
They need to be because they're not.
Because they were not lasting anything.
I thought, 8 models, so they're only getting 16 attacks at 3s and 4s, rend 1, damage 1.
If they get the attack first, they'll do a little bit, but if they've lost a few, which is very easy to do on 1 health units, they're just going to be blitzed away.
And if you pick the cold savagery, which we're kind of thinking that's maybe one of the good enhancements for your general to have, you can make them rend 2, so they can roll a lot of dice.
I really don't know what that unit is. I think it's just to annoy your opponent by moving it around a lot, so they have to kind of get you.
I think it's sort of a weird unit that kind of does a little bit of everything. Pretty mobile, okay in combat, it can fight and come back. But yeah, like you say, it's not doing amazing in combat. It's not super defensive, so it's not like you can lock something down. Suppose it can retreat without taking mortals. So I suppose you could use it to, I don't know, lock something up in your opponents and run away kind of thing. But it's not like a wow. It's not like the Skaven one that is you just get to make a move in your enemy's turn. It's like, well, I can kind of move 3, and sometimes it benefits me to move that 3. Sometimes it doesn't, so I just won't.
And obviously the best thing about the Skaven thing is it's your whole army. You know, it's that one annoying thing that you're like, I need that thing not to run away. That's the thing that does. This, you know it's going to happen, so you can maybe plan for playing against it a little bit.
On a unit that, all right, cool, I've got you in combat, you're probably still just going to kill me.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just, if it was 2 health, I think I'd rely on that unit to survive a turn or 2. You just can't with 1 health. You can't rely on that unit surviving. Wow, they are your one unit that's got to probably do things, and they're mobile enough to do it at least.
I mean, that's the one thing about the army is everything's pretty mobile and not the worst damage in the army in the world. If you roll well, it should do a fair bit, but yeah, it is a bit of a weird one.
I just can't believe not 2 damage on the charge.
It honestly wouldn't surprise me if it came out that this was wrong, and it is damage. Because obviously, even in my Deepkin book, it's wrong for the archers. It hasn't got them having crit auto. So
Hope so.
Yeah.
When you compare it with all other, cavalry units on the charge, they're doing double what that unit's doing. I feel it's a little bit lazy. When I first looked at it, I was like, oh, their ability is once per battle, give a 5-up ward. That's exactly the same as the first Bone Reapers one.
Yeah.
And they've got another ability as well. I went, that's just a carbon copy of that one. I just feel like it's just either not original, and the bits that are original are so niche that you got to get the benefit from them.
Yeah, like you say, they've got some very weird abilities that are like...
Which I like. You don't always want every unit to be does D3 damage on the charge. And, I think that just gets a bit boring. You've got to have some sort of variety. But I honestly thought when I read the ability that they can charge and then go out of combat, I was like, oh, that's because they do D3 damage on the charge, and that's how they're getting it. Or the same as they had before, where they can pass across models and do mortal damage. That's not there. Because they can't fly through terrain. They can only fly through enemy model.
So the battle trait is once per turn, you can pick a friendly unit to be the target for the rest of the turn. That target can pass across models as if it had fly.
Yeah. And then the ability for them coming out of combat says they can go through combat ranges, but not through models. So it's only if that unit you chose to do that does it.
Yeah.
They can. Otherwise, they are restricted by enemy models that are in the way. They'll have to go round if that's the area they're trying to get to.
Mm-mm. Deepkin's one of the best, and it's probably the easiest one to compare it to. And obviously, we looked at the Sylvaneth and we were like, ooh, that one should be pretty good as well. And then we also thought that this one, probably not going to be as good as the Deepkin one, but should be good. Should be good. Looking at that, I don't think it will. I think it'll probably just be because it's pretty mobile and can do a fair bit of damage, and fairly defensive.
Yeah,
you can probably, if you get the first turn, run in, smash, and just sit and kind of grind them out.
But is that a fun game of Spearhead?
Yeah.
That's what I looked at. I know your Deepkin one cannot be fun when they just run in and kill you, but at least it's a quick game. This will be a slow, drawn-out death, and you're going to be like, oh, what was the point in that game? That was a really unenjoyable game of Spearhead. If you're not the army that can kill back, and they don't kill you, you'll just sit in really pointless combats.
Like, you'll probably do well against armies that have, like, weak shooting units and wizards that are like, well, I need to get into it pretty early on and make sure they can't do their stuff. You'll probably do quite well against them because, again, you'll be able to do that fairly easy and consistently. But yeah, again, something with a good save that can do a bit of damage, you'll probably struggle against.
I think you will. Yeah.
Or something that's just kind of got a lot. You're not that killy.
No.
Your general can be. He can do a lot of damage.
But like you said, he could also do
nothing. He could also do nothing.
I mean, he can give +1 to charge, which is nice, but...
It's an army that doesn't necessarily need it.
No, exactly.
It's nice to guarantee a charge that you're moving 10, you'll probably more than likely be outside of 3 or something. It's nice to guarantee that one of your units is more than likely to get into combat.
I would rather his ability give a unit +1 damage on the charge.
Well...
No, I'd rather the unit just have it. So we're holding out on a misprint.
That's sort of our first look at the Bone Reapers. Probably very middling, maybe not the most fun. And it's probably one most Bone Reapers probably already have most of the stuff for. The Warcry unit will be the one that people don't. So that's not always the worst thing. And they've got other two to pick from, so...
And that's the best part. You can pick from other two fairly average to bad spearheads instead of this one if you're a devoted Ossiarch Bone Reaper player. We hope you've enjoyed this bonus episode of All Out AOS Presents Tip of the Spear. We will be doing a battle report with these, probably against Tzeentch, hopefully coming out in the next few days.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how that one goes, and I'll have a bit more insight after that. But in the meantime, enjoy your spearhead, and we'll speak to you soon.